you into the hot rods and the custom cars and stuff?
Man, I don't think I've ever known anything else. I mean, ever since I was a kid, Hot Wheels and model cars, and that's where it all starts.
So at what age did you actually start getting into the customization and building your own stuff?
So, actually got my first car shortly before I turned 13. 74 Camaro. Back then, it was just all I could afford. But then we got that, and so I worked with my dad, and we would hang, he was a drywall taper and painter, and I would help him. I would go, carry drywall and stuff like that, and just help him on these side jobs. And I would cut grass and stuff, and anything I could do to make money. And then I saved up money, and I started buying, I remember we went up to, you could go up to St. Louis. They had a St. Louis auto panel was up there. And we went up there and bought quarter panels, and then, just started buying the body panels and pieces I needed. And then I remember got everything, I had everything for quite a while, and I kept wanting my dad to help me and that, and it was always like, okay, we'll get to it. Well, then in one summer, he come home from work one day, and I cut the quarter panels off of it. and so then, I put it all up there, and I cut them off, and so then he called his friend Ralph. That was a family friend. So he was the one that Ralph was the one that had this truck and started building it. And Ralph was like my second dad. And Ralph would come over, he came over and he showed me how to fit everything up, and then he welded the quarter panels on it for me. And then I started body working and everything. But yeah, that was my first car. So I mean, that was when I was like 14 or so. I started body working.
Wow. So how upset was your dad when he got home and the quarter panel was off?
Well, I think if I remember right, he was pretty upset at the time. But then he got over it, and and then I think he thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, but there was some shock.
So from that moment forward, from the time you cut that first quarter panel off, did you know this is something I want to do as a career?
Yes. Yeah, I knew then that that's what I wanted to do. I really enjoyed taking something and then, the grinding and the cutting and then, got the metal work. And I remember hammering and dollying around forever trying to get everything as straight as I could. And it was probably awful, but I got everything the best I could. And then I started putting on filler. And I remember then that I just thought, this is what I want to do.
So at what point did you decide, okay, I know you went to Rankin, right?
Yeah.
So at what point did you decide, okay, this is something I want to pursue? And whenever you started getting into it, did you think you were going to just do the collision repair painting, or?
Yeah, because I remember when I'd go over to my dad's friend Randy Yount, I'd go over there, and I remember him telling me, so his brother worked at a dealership. And I remember him telling me, you need to get into a dealership, get into a union shop. And so that's what I thought I needed to do. And so I went to Rankin, got the degree in collision repair, and then I went to work in collision shops and started doing collision work. But wasn't my passion.
Yeah. So how long did you do the regular collision stuff before you were like, maybe this isn't the path I want to take?
Let's see, so almost 10 years, I guess. Yeah, almost 10 years that I worked in shops and doing collision work, and then I decided to open up my own shop.
So when you were doing the regular collision stuff, were you also doing like the hot rod stuff in your own garage still, or?
Yeah, I kept doing my own cars, and then because I'd done the 74 Camaro, and then I did that one. Okay, so I had that one done by the time I was 16, and then I bought a 68 Camaro, and so I got the 68 Camaro when I was 16. So then we done it, painted it up and everything.
So how long did it take you when you were doing the regular collision stuff to decide, like, hey, maybe I want to take my restoration and custom, really more of a custom fabrication to do it?
I don't know. I guess so. I was making really good money in the collision world. I just didn't enjoy what I did. Mm-hmm. So you do the same thing over and over, and so I was doing the other stuff at home, and so I was doing my own stuff, and then I had buddies that wanted me to do their stuff, and then I just started thinking that, man, I could do this and enjoy it.
Yeah. So I know you talked about you and your dad working on the Camaros together. So how many cars in total did you think you and your dad built together?
Well, I mean, what he always called piddled with quite a few. It was when we got into the truck, probably, is when I took everything. That was when I started really getting into researching and learning, and that was when I started buying more tools. I bought my first MIG welder, and just started buying more professional type stuff. And then I was making pretty good money at the time and stuff. So I started taking it next level then, and then that's when it turned into me and Dad doing stuff together, to Dad sitting on his chair and handing me stuff and here, what do you need, he always said that I took what he enjoyed, and then I just made it a passion, and made it, just got carried away with it.
Took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So then, with you and your dad working on so much, I know this truck kind of has a lot of sentimental value to it. Tell us a little bit about this truck.
So this truck, so it was our friend Ralph that, like I say, he was like my second dad. Ralph was like my dad's best friend, and there for a while when I was a kid, he actually lived with us. So I was very close to Ralph, and he took me in and showed me a lot, helped me a lot, and so was very close with him. But he bought this truck and started to restore it, and I remember he used to come down by my shop. At that time I had the shop in Hillsboro when he bought it, and he used to come down and he would show me kind of what was going on, and he was buying this and he was buying parts, and he was going to do this and that, and then he ended up getting sick, and ended up eventually passing away from it, and the truck was just all tore apart in his garage. And then the family, his sons and daughter and that, they wanted my dad to have it, so they ended up giving the truck to Dad, and then we took it. I took it to my shop in Hillsboro there, and then we just kind of in between stuff, we worked on it and fixed it up. The motor in it, it had a old carbureted 350. It was a crate motor, but you know, I had an old Corvette sitting there, one of those, it was an 86 Corvette with the old twin port injected 350, you know. But the old car ran good, looked terrible, but it ran good. And so I just took and pulled the motor and transmission and that out of that and slapped it in this, and we done a couple little upgrades to it. But you know, now it's got overdrive and it gets 20 miles a gallon, and you know. But then I wanted to paint it and everything the way Ralph was going to paint it. So this was his plans with it. So I stayed with that theme and painted it the colors that he wanted it. And Dad took, and whenever we first got the truck together, I mean, Dad drove the truck for several years until he just couldn't anymore.
Yeah.
And then now it's probably my favorite.
Yeah. This is one that I know anybody who stops by the shop a lot of times, they'll see it floating around the shop and stuff like that. And just like we saw a while ago as we were sitting there on the side of the road, everybody who drives by,
yeah,
I mean, it's a real eye catcher.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really one of those, it's nice that not only is it a gorgeous truck, but it's got a lot of sentimental value.
It's got a lot of sentimental value for sure. I mean, it's one that I've had a bunch of people ask me, you know, well, how much? You know, how much is it? And no, you can't buy it. And I've had people, oh, well, you know, everything's got a price. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You can't buy it. I don't care.
At any point in your early stages, were you like, what have I done?
Oh! At any point? How many points? I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, well, because I was making a good living.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, you know, I started off in business, and there's like that, I don't know, you first start off a business, you're just like full of energy, and then people, you know, you're new and everything, and you're exciting and that. So it was like the business started off good. You know, in my first 6 months was pretty good. In the first year, I mean, we still done okay. I didn't make as much as I did when I was working for the, you know, in the body shop. But, you know, it was like, okay, hey, this is a good start. Well, then the second year went way down. And then by the third year, I think it was the third year was when we really bottomed out. I made like $17,000 for the year. And at that point, you know, me and Amy was married, 2 kids, and $17,000 did not cut it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, that was not good. Yeah. So that was definitely those moments. And I almost gave up a couple times. Matter of fact, it was that year that Turk McVeigh, I was friends with him down Turk's Auto Body, and great guy. And we was talking, and he was like, you know, he said, if you need help, he says, he could use another painter. And he told me, just come by and he'll put me to work until I get back on my feet. And so I went by and I worked for him, I wanted to say 2 or 3 weeks. And but you know, it was a night because it helped me. I mean, it gave me some extra money, but then more than anything, it made me just all that much more determined that, no, I'm going to make this work, you know. And so then I went back, and then I started pushing heavier, working in the shop. And I mean, man, there was a whole lot of 7 days a week and you know, 16-hour days.
Yeah.
But it's the way you get going, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Now I've learned a lot. I wouldn't do the same thing again.
Yeah.
But you know, it was definitely I worked harder instead of smarter.
Oh yeah.
But that's how we grow, I think.
Yeah, I do think that is. I think a lot of those early stages, especially in not only business, but I think getting into building cars, every day is a learning experience. You're learning something every single day.
Okay, that's still today.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many at this point. I mean, it's been, you know, there's hundreds of cars have rolled through the shops and stuff, and it's sadly I've gotten, I don't even remember all of them, you know, anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you got to think of it, see pictures, and okay, you know. But I mean, it's just, but I learn something every single day, but I make it a point to learn every single day. I think, you know, so I'm always researching and looking what other people are doing, and then just, you know, getting ideas, and you know, I'll stare at things for an hour, for hours. You know, I'll stare at things and then just figure, okay, what can I do here to make this different or make it better, or, you know, make it more unique or whatever. And what really is frustrating is the times that, you know, you spend hours and hours and developing and thinking of something cool, and, you know, and then you get online and you look through, and then somebody else done the same thing. And like, what the hell, you know? You just, but, you know, great minds, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's the interesting thing I see in working with you, is I do feel like you are always looking for what's something, and I feel like we go through that fairly often. I feel like you come up with a good idea, you're like, this is what we're going to do, and then we start running with it a little ways, and we're like, oh, somebody's already done that.
Yes.
And then it's back to the drawing board.
Okay, well, then we don't want to be like them,
Yeah.
so let's tweak things, you know.
So-
I definitely like to be unique.
What is your favorite part of the classic car? Let's just go with the classic car stuff right now. What's your favorite part about being in the classic car industry?
I'm all about the total package.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the pro touring movement is like one of the most exciting things that's happened to, you know, old cars.
Yeah.
You know, where you've got performance, and then you've got, we'll just run up here, and where you've got performance, and you've got handling, and then yet you've got air conditioning and Bluetooth and backup cameras and automatic headlights, and, you know, it's just all that cool stuff. But at the same, you know, and then, I mean, you know, we retrofit a classic car with an LT4 engine, or you know, or twin turbo LS or LT or whatever, and, you know, and 6-speed manuals or 6-speed automatics, or, I mean, now they got 10 speeds, you know. I mean, it just, anything that you got in a new car, well, you know, take that technology and put it in an old car, and have that classic styling. And I just think to me, that's just my favorite right now, you know. I mean,
so I know you're a big fan, like you were just saying, you're a big fan of the classic car with the modern handling and technology. So where do you see that technology go? What do you see as the future of Griffin Automotive Design?
oh man, so I don't, I mean, I like everything, you know, I like all the technology, I like all the stuff. I'm not gonna say, I mean, we're certainly not going all electric, but am I gonna jump on a little bit of the electric? Heck yeah. You know, we're doing an old MGA, and we're putting the, you know, gonna convert it to electric. And, you know, just because, to me, it's not, in my opinion, I don't think electric's gonna take over for a long time. To me, it's a fad. But you know what? It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So if we can do something cool with it, then I'm on board doing something cool. So, I mean, I just think, and there's guys so smart out there. I mean, they come up with stuff like, seems like daily there's just something new, mind-blowing out there, you know. So I just like, I like seeing all that stuff, and then, well, how can I put that on an old car, you know? So the possibilities are absolutely endless. I really like the race stuff, you know, like road race type stuff. So I'm really wanting to do, I'd like to do like an open-wheeled roadster style, but I mean like IndyCar meets roadster style, you know, you know what I mean? You know, I mean, I just, and then likewise, I love trucks. I love 4-wheel drive trucks, you know, big tires. I like them big and tall, and I like them slammed on the ground. And I don't like little tires. I ain't much for little tires.
Yeah.
But anything with big tires, I'm all about it, you know. But it just, there's no end. Really, there's no end.
So, my biggest thing about working at Griffin Automotive Design is I like people come in and they see the cool stuff we build. So, whenever people stop you and they're like, "Hey, you're the Griffin guy," like, how does that make you feel? You at this point, have you been around it so much that it's just one of those things, it's an everyday, or is it one of those things that you still, when people say, "Oh, I saw this car," that you still take that pride?
Oh,
really,
yeah. I mean, it is still, I guess sometimes you're still just, I'm amazed that people notice, you know, what you do and that, you know, it's like, and I'm just, so you always got that pride that people are actually appreciating everything you're doing and the work and thought that you put into these cars. So yeah, it's I guess you'd say it's flattering to say the least, you know. I mean, it's cool. And then I mean, we have just such an awesome team, you know. I mean, it's not a one person deal. It's a team in order to make it work. And that's what I think, and that's what's really helped us go next level, is because now, you know, it used to be me and one other guy. Well, now we've got 30 people in there with ideas and thoughts, and it's just, so it's awesome because you get to bounce all those ideas and you get to take, you know, and run with so many different things that it's an honor and a gift.
So, how many days are you out in the shop and you're looking at these cool things we're building, and you're like, "This is what I need to do for a living"? Do you still have those occurrences?
Every day. I walk through the shop every night, you know, because generally I'm the last one here. And I walk through the shop pretty well every evening and just look. And I mean, I'm still just, to me, it's, like I say, it's an honor that we get to do it.
So what kind of advice would you give to somebody who is, let's say they're just graduating from Rankin, and I know you went to Rankin, you got out of, you went straight into the auto body stuff. Let's say somebody else is graduating from Rankin, but they're wanting to do the classic car stuff. What kind of advice would you give to somebody like that?
I would absolutely follow it. I mean, what I tell them, and I have people come in, you know, I have young guys come in and young ladies, and I tell them to learn everything you can learn. And I tell them, you know, pay attention in electronics, because that's where it's at. You know, there's going to be more and more technology, and so, but just learn all you can, you know.
So one of my things I really enjoy is, like, whenever we have a new guy come in, like you and I are the ones who do the interviews, and we're always looking for certain things when people come in. Why don't you explain a little bit about what it is when people come here and apply for jobs? There's a very specific thing we look for all the time. What is that?
Well, it's attitude and eagerness, you know, and I mean, it's, but you gotta be part of the team, culture. I mean, to me, talent is awesome. You got to have a little bit of talent, but more than anything, you got to have that eagerness and just the right culture. You got to have the right attitude, and then we can learn the rest, you know. But you got to have the right attitude about it.
That's what I absolutely love about working here. Is we do have a lot of guys who come in, and I feel like a lot of them are still learning. And that's what I appreciate about you so much, is I feel like you really take the time and you want to see each one of your guys kind of evolve, and because you do believe that the better our employees we have, the more they know, the better company we are overall. So that's one thing I think I really, really appreciate about working here, is you are one of those who's willing to take the time and put the effort into your guys' learning. So I just want to thank you for that.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I think this was a cool little drive around. I think
it
we
was.
got a lot of good stuff, a lot of good information. So.
Yeah. I think next time I'm going to interview you.
Yeah.